Hey guys, I know I didn't post a video last week. That's because I gave my testimony this past Wednesday to First Baptist Church in Palmer, and I was kind of wanting to release that. I know I didn't give any heads up or anything like that, but I hope you enjoy it. I was extremely nervous. This is my first time speaking in front of public, and I don't know if you could tell, but it was a big moment that I got to finally overcome. But please bear with me. It is 25 minutes long, but I hope you guys enjoy it, and please give a like and share. Alright guys, I hope you enjoy it. Later. I'm actually speaking in front of people.
Sorry.
But so answering the call, that's kind of my life testimony in general. But the reason I say that is because I was brought up in the church. I was raised in this church alone. I used to sit back there. I used to sit right over there, and for a while I sat right there. All right, and I started going to church in the Awana program, and from there on, it just kind of it went on for a little bit. But now, granted, I came from a family of divorce. My parents divorced when I was about 5 years old. Okay, and I never understood why. Never even questioned it. It happened, and I moved on in my life. But then my mom had met my stepdad Brian. We moved here and whatnot. And, the Harpers have been an amazing part of my life, which I can't thank them enough for. But being brought up in the church doesn't mean I was enjoying it. Right? Like I said, I was drugged to church. That was my first addiction. I was being drugged to church. I didn't want to be here. I knew that I had to be here, but I didn't care for it. So being in that situation, I was never truly receiving the Word of God. I was never truly receiving what God had for me. But my mom was a youth pastor for a little bit. And that was cool, I guess. It just, for me, it was like, all right, I have to go because now I have to show that I support my mom, and if I don't support mom, then what kind of son am I? But it got a little worse because I started to drink and smoke at the age of 14. All right. Now I'm 24 now, and you probably, with your genetics and whatnot, you can't tell, but it was bringing me down in a way that I didn't understand. My first beer was with my dad. My first cigarette, I had actually bummed a smoke off my mom, who never had any idea that I was smoking. And then when I had gotten my car, just being able to drive around Palmer and whatnot, they started to pick up on those sort of habits because I would always come in smelling like fresh cologne, or just I wouldn't come home at all. I'd be like I'm staying at a friend's house and whatnot. But my drinking and my smoking started at a very young age, and I kind of traversed into later on in life. But it kind of, I don't know how to put this, it separated me even further from what God truly wanted out of me. Because I knew that He wanted me to be a part of certain things going on in life, but I always no, I'll get to that when I want to. It's you may want something, but right now I'm going to live for me. And in a sense, that was not the smartest thing I could ever have done, because looking back, I can see what path it truly set for me. Let's see, I joined the Marine Corps at age 18. I was a very proud Marine, but granted, my addictions had followed me. In the Marine Corps, I became a raging alcoholic. I was downing at least 12 bottles of beer a night just to fall asleep. Now, if you don't know what that can do to the human body, let me explain that. That can destroy your liver within 10 years' time, and you don't really realize it. You don't know the damage it's truly doing to your body. Now, smoking-wise, I was probably smoking a pack of cigarettes, maybe a pack and a half a day. Yeah, it was a lot, because I would start off my morning waking up at 5 a.m., up till 9 a.m. I already had 5 cigarettes. That's 4 hours of just being awake, just to wake my body up. And I didn't realize what effect it truly had. But then I started getting into drugs. Alright? The list is kind of lengthy, but I have done, I've smoked weed, I've done meth, I have done synthetic marijuana, I know it's K2 here. I've done bath salts. I was massively addicted to cocaine while in the Marine Corps. This didn't happen prior to the Marine Corps. Now, granted, I smoked weed on high school, but even people joke about it, going, well, it's not really a gateway drug. If it wasn't a gateway drug, then quit smoking it. I understand the feeling you may have and how it might feel good, but I'm telling you right now, if you don't stop at this age, it will only get worse. Because I'm actually having friends right now being sent to rehab, being sent off into mental institutions. Granted, that wasn't for weed, but it's for other drugs that they've been led to. I've been on psychedelics, which actually have destroyed my social personality whatsoever. I can't stand being around people. I can't stand it. It's just my anxiety is been ruined because of the things that I've done. I have also been in 3 massive car accidents that I have caused. The first one, I was smoking a massive amount of K2, and I decided to drive at night. Well, I had blacked out and ran into somebody and rear-ended them. Luckily, the police officer that showed up did a breathalyzer because they thought I was drunk. Unfortunately enough, they couldn't find out that I was smoking a massive amounts of synthetic marijuana. Now, the second one is I had actually put someone in the driver's seat and had them smoke while I was sitting in the passenger seat. This kid has never done any drugs in his entire life, but I had convinced him that he'll be fine while he drives under a heavy influence of synthetic marijuana. Now, what had happened was he completely blacked out, as I had did this one time. But it was we were coming to an intersection where a car was sitting still, and there was a massive stone wall sitting across the street. Well, he wasn't responding whatsoever, so what I had to do is I grabbed the wheel and I swerved into that wall. I still have a scar. You can't really see it anymore, but there's a massive scar burn mark that I had on my hand. Now, granted, I wasn't wearing my seatbelt, and it bothers me because I knew I should have flew out the windshield and hit that wall head on. That's something that logically made sense to me, but it didn't happen. For some reason, whatever I was holding on to held me back completely, and I know that wasn't me doing it, that was God watching over me. Now, it took me a while to realize that, but I took a step back after it happened. I had put this man in a situation that he should have never been in. I had convinced him to take drugs when he had never done anything his entire life, and I had caused him to go into anaphylactic shock. Now, I don't know if anyone has been here to see someone go into anaphylactic shock, but it's a very disturbing thing to see because they're shaking, they're almost going into a seizure. They're going into a place of just utter, what's a good way to put it? They're going into a sense of they don't know where they are and their body is shutting down on them, okay? Now, the third place I had a car accident was in the middle of daylight, and it was on a massive highway. Again, I had blocked out, and I had actually swerved into a woman that had, not only was she pregnant, but she had her 2-year-old child in the back seat. Now, even then, I still didn't stop smoking. It didn't take me till a mental breakdown until going sent to a mental institution to finally have myself quit smoking synthetic marijuana. But it didn't stop there, because when I got out of the Marine Corps, I had actually came home for a little bit. For about 6 months, I came home, and I decided to drink more. I decided to get into cocaine even further. I decided to get it into meth because it was readily available, and for me, I have a very addictive personality. And when I like something, I'm going to go all out. I have to have more, and I don't care what I have to do to get more. I stole from my family. I stole from my friends. I stole from individuals out in Ellis County, whether it be tires, car radios, no matter what it was, I stole from them. Some of you know my little brother, Jesse Johnson. I actually stole about $120 worth off of him so I can get my next fix. Okay? And that was literally, I stole that $120 for weed. For weed. Not coke, not meth, not anything else, but just for weed. Okay? The first of all, I shouldn't have done that. But the second part, I didn't feel remorse after it. I didn't care because I just wanted to get high. Okay? And it was later on when I look back, it was such a disturbing thing that I realized that I had done. But it just made me realize how much of a horrible person that I had become. Because if I was willing to steal off my little brother, who at the time was 12 or 11 years old, then what else am I willing to truly do just to get my next high? 6 months had passed, and I decided to move to Hollywood, California. Now, Hollywood, California is a very dangerous place. There's a lot of glamorous things behind it of what people may think Hollywood truly is. But I literally pass by homeless people every single day. The smell of urine filled the streets like no other. Okay, people don't care about other people there. If you want to do something and you need someone else's help, they have an agenda so they can get their way first while you get yours. Okay, I have done so many things in Hollywood that it's disturbing. I can't truly look. At the time, I couldn't look myself in the mirror of who I truly was. I was touring the country for a metal band as a road tech. Now, again, it may seem nice and cool and whatnot, but it wasn't. I wasn't eating. I wasn't bathing because of just where we were in the country. I was doing anything I could to bum a cigarette off of people. I was doing everything I could just to buy a bottle of liquor. All right. Now, a bottle of liquor, the cheapest liquor they have is about $12. And when you're literally sitting on the side of the street asking change so you can go buy a bottle of liquor, that's bad. But even then, I wasn't stopping. I was actually still getting further into it. So here I am. Let's see, it'd be 2015, so last year time frame. November, about 2 weeks from this actually happening. I had just been fired from the band I was working for. I was kicked out of my apartment, and I had nowhere to go. I was literally about to start roaming California so I could just be homeless and whatnot. Now, I know it was a God thing because my mom had sent me a text on, hey, if you want to come back home for Christmas, I'll pay for your bus ticket. In my back of my mind, I was like, no, I don't want to go home. I just want to kind of just be left alone. I had already alienated my entire family. My mom had actually gone through cancer 2 years prior, and I had just walked away, not caring that she went through cancer. I didn't want to be a part of the family. I had so turned my back on my family that they only asked if I was okay on holidays. And if you don't know what that's like, that's miserable. Because only getting a text, not even a call, a text going, hey, hope you're doing okay, hope everything's all right, we love you, happy holidays, and then that was it. Next holiday, and that's when I would hear them. It's miserable because you feel so alone, because even the people I was living with weren't my friends. They were just people that I was around. They were people that I worked for, in a sense. I was so alone in the world that I was turning to Satanism. It's surprising that I grew up in the church, I knew better. But I was turning to Satanism because even the people that were believing in these occultist things were treating me better than the people that I was with. So I started getting that very heavy. So here I am on tour trying to figure things out when I get back to California to what I need to do. So I answered my mom like, look, I'll come home, but then I'm going to be heading back to California as soon as possible. I got things I got to take care of, which was the bold-faced lie. I just don't want them worrying about me because I knew my mom would no matter what. But, so I come home for Christmas, and Amy, do you have that picture?
Of you?
Yes. Alright. So I don't know if y'all can see that, but my hair was down to my shoulders. Right now I'm at 130, okay? That's me at 115 weight-wise. Alright, I was so strung out, I was so miserable, I was so unhealthy that, now granted, you can probably see the resemblance and whatnot, but that's who I was back a year ago, okay? I have most people look at me now and go, I don't know that person. And I'm glad because I don't know that person anymore. I have the memories of that person, but I'm not that person anymore because the things that that person used to do and what they believed in was so downright wrong and just ungodly that they would do anything they possibly could just to please that person. Whatever it was, selfishness, turning their back, burning bridges so they didn't have to deal with people anymore, what have you. But when I came home, I had made a deal with my mom. Look, I'll come to church. I'll make sure you're happy and whatnot. But once that week is over, I'm gonna be heading home, or I'm gonna be heading to California. So the first week I went to church. I kind of, all right, here's a good representation of where I was in life. Hair down to my shoulders. All my fingernails were painted black. I wore what was it? It was a pentagram shirt, upside down pentagram with double horns coming out the side. That's what I wore to a church. Alright? So I had all these people looking at me like I was downright crazy. Like, what are you, like, if I felt if someone had touched me, I was going to start burning because of how righteous they were. That was my thought process. So I sat in the chair, and I just kind of sat there like, all right, this is me pleasing my parents, and I can't wait to go home. All right, this is it. Second week came in, or that Sunday, I went to church. It was okay. That Wednesday was different. That Wednesday, I had felt a presence that I haven't felt my entire life. Okay? I had felt something that truly filled that void that I had in my entire life. Because my entire life, I've been going through things that I've always been looking for the answer that I could never do, whether it be alcohol, drugs, pornography. No matter what it was, I could never fill that void. And so I went to that Wednesday service. And there was a man named Jim Hudspeth, okay? And the message that he had given, it was almost as if he was saying it directly toward me. All right? And what I mean by that is he'd be walking around back and forth, but you ever been talking to someone and it's like they make eye contact with you, and you know they're talking to you, right? You feel like that? He didn't even know I existed. He had saw me in the corner of his eye, but he never knew that I was actually there. And so I go up to him, man, you had an amazing service. I just want to let you know that really spoke to me. He goes, oh, okay, cool. Just to let you know that just came out of the blue. I didn't know where that came from. So I knew that was truly God talking to me, going, look, I'm giving you a second chance. I'm giving you this opportunity to truly change your life around, whether it be the way you want to or the way you knew it. But whether it be my way or his way, and I'm like, look, I've been doing my way my entire life. Okay? I've been doing this so selfishly that I need to make a change. So why not make a change for God? So let's see, December 28th is when I finally gave myself over to Christ. Is when I look, I'm done with that person. I'm done with being who I am. I'm done with just what life I had. So I gave myself over to Christ just December 28th, and then in February I had been baptized. Now when I was baptized in this church, but I was doing it to please my parents. Like, look, I got baptized. Look at me, I'm doing good for y'all. But when I truly got baptized, it's not just a public thing of you going, look, I am a believer in Christ. It's something that you have to truly believe and accept, because when you truly get baptized, it's going, God, I want to live for you. Jesus, I want to truly live for you, because what I've been doing in life hasn't been right. Not even right, but it just hasn't been working out. So the next day after I was baptized, give the next picture. The next day I was baptized, I was in a car accident where me and my stepdad Brian were driving in the truck after work, and I was sitting in the passenger seat, Brian driving. Someone driving with a pallet, their strap had broke off, and the pallet had flown and hit the windshield. Now, it could have hit his side, it could have hit my side, it could have flown over and whatnot, but it hit my side. Alright, so imagine a massive pallet, full-on pallet, right? I had this sticking through my windshield, my side of the windshield. Not like this, but like this, okay? Straight at me. Now, if I didn't believe in God then, before that, I definitely believed in God at that moment, because if you look at that picture, it looks like it's hanging down, right? Well, it almost kind of means, the way I have to say it is like, it's almost like God goes, no, not today. I got plans for him real quick. And that could have easily hit me in the head, killed me instantly. Brian could have swerved, ran off into the ditch, whatnot. But I kept the piece that had actually been sticking out in front of me, because it always reminds me of what God truly has planned for me, whether I know it or not, because you don't know what he keeps you safe from. Whether you be stuck in traffic, not on his side, you can almost see like it's a straight line of where nothing ever happened on his side. It was strictly on my side. But whether I understand God's plan or not, it doesn't matter, because he has called me to do something, and I'm going to do whatever I can for him. Because whether you be stuck in traffic, you don't know what it saved you from. Because what if someone was behind me and actually got hit with that? What if they were killed by that? They weren't, and I was saved. So that's what I take away from that. Now, what I do now for Christ, I used to skate all the time. No, I used to longboard all the time. And granted, I will say I bought this skateboard out of selfishness because, like, man, I kind of want this new board. I've been saving up for it. I'm just going to do it anyways. So I bought this board and I was skating one day. And usually when I skated, I usually talk to God. Like, that's my time to fully, like, pray, just talk to Him. And I was talking to Him like, God, look, I feel wrong about this. How do I make this right? How do I get this board back to you? And I got a very definite answer. And people say, well, I heard this voice or I had this feeling. And me personally, for me, it's your conscience, as people like to call it. That's Christ truly talking to you. That's God going, look, I gave you can hear my voice. You have to truly be willing to listen to it and receive it for what it is. So I was sitting there and I'm skating, and He goes, make a video. Make a video of what you do. Of just sitting here talking to me, just make a video of it. I'm like, all right, I guess I can do that. Now, I have anxiety like no other. I don't like public speaking. It actually terrifies me beyond all belief. I'm surprised I don't have gallons of water pouring out of my head right now. But when I started to do these videos, it wasn't for the views. It wasn't for people going, oh man, you did an awesome job. It was so one person out in the world can go, I need to see that today. He said in a way that no one else has been able for me to understand it, but he said in a way that made sense, and I can deal with that. That's awesome. It was about sowing that one seed. Alright? And Christ has told us multiple times, it's not about you saving that person. Just sow the seed so I can work through them. Once you sow that seed out in the world, you don't know the possibilities that God has for you. So I started making these videos, and they have gone all over from Jamaica, South Africa, India, Australia, the UK, Ireland. I'm missing one. But most of them, they've traveled, and I didn't truly think that was actually possible. My thought was like, all right, I'm going to make these videos, I'm going to get like 1 or 2 views, and like it's going to hit Texas, and that's it. Like, whatever. And then I checked YouTube one day, and they saw the map, and it was all over the place, and it just kind of goes, all right, as long as one person is truly getting a message out of it, that's all that matters. I could have literally like 1 like, and 1 comment, and 1 view, but as long as that one person is doing or liking it and getting a word, I'm going to keep doing it. Because you don't know the seed that you're sowing in that person. You don't know what God is calling on them to do. And what if I decided not to do it anymore? What if that person got discouraged and was looking for that video and go, man, I was looking for that video and he wasn't there to give me a word on God. Well, if he gave up, then I'm going to give up, because it looked like he was doing so well. His background that he had, he came through all of it, and he just gave up. And I guess I'll give up. So that's not just my motivation. It's also I've lived that life going against God my entire life, and now that I finally gave myself back over, I can't ever go back. Looking at that picture of me, I just rejoice because I'm no longer that person. I'm no longer the individual that used to do whatever he could just so he could get his next fix. Who would blow people off so he could be left alone in the world so he didn't have to deal with anything. And I was I grew up as a metalhead. I grew up in music, and that was my big thing, and so I was going to go be a rock star, which, being around those people, it opened my eyes to what's truly out there in the world. Because, man, I grew up on everything. Like, any kind of music, you name it, I was into it. So I was like, all right, that's going to be my life. So when I went and did that, I saw how truly people are. And it was upsetting because, man, it hurt, because some people I thought who were my best friends out in Hollywood, right, don't even know my name anymore. They wrote me off as soon as I left. They go, oh, that dude's gone? All right, cool, don't have to deal about him anymore. And I once considered them my best friends. The people I have now in my life are the people who follow God, because who you surround yourself with is who you become, okay? And if you don't believe that to be true, look at the people you look up to. Look at the people who are in mainstream media. Look at the people who are in the spotlight, and then look at the people around them. I guarantee you they're exact copies of each other. All right. So if anything that you do get out of this, it's watch who you hang around, watch what you do, watch what you say. Because the things you say do come to life, right? Because as a kid, I was like, I'm going to go be that, I'm going to do this. And then it started getting into more vulgar things of that sort, and those started to actually happen. Saying that you're going to have a bad day, speaking negativity out in the world, that's the devil's playground, all right? You have to understand the devil is just literally waiting on you to say something, though, so he can have a moment to go, all right, my turn to play. Because I played in that, and it never won, not one battle. But guys, I hope y'all get something out of this. I'm Jordan, and I hope you have a great night.